you're on the other line, boy, there's a big difference in terms of the audio quality of people on the WebEx line as opposed to the other one.
Okay, that's good to know, actually. Okay, so I have on the WebEx Leslie Ott, Christine Mattia, Ashley Williamson, who's chairing the group, Tennille Utah, David Fahey, Jeff Keys, Elnaz Moshfikian, and Billy Belchev, who will be who are the web designers. And and then over on the other screen, Judy Fainstock, who is with Arcus and helping to set up our WebEx, and Sandy Starkweather, who everybody knows. And Sandy and Billy will be doing the presentation of the webinar today. Ashley, you want to say anything before we get underway?
I do, and I'll make it real brief since we've had technical delays here. One of the things we want to get started doing is having agency updates on the call, so we're aware of what one another's agencies are doing. But I wanted to make you aware of we've got a couple of opportunities where we need to think in terms of visibility before the bigger community. And one of them is those of you who are familiar with team lead positions have seen that IARPIC is putting together its first biennial report, and Anjali Bamzai is leading this effort with a few co-workers. Sandy, I guess, is involved, and Sarah. And one of the things they are looking toward is sort of two-page highlights from selected areas within the implementation, well, in the lead teams. One of the questions that I wanted us to think about and not necessarily deal with today, but certainly before the next meeting is there something that in the atmospheric area might be ripe for a presentation? They're looking for something that is interagency within the boundaries of our collaboration teams, and obviously shows well too, you know. And I don't have anything to suggest now. We don't even have a complete template, but I want to seed the thoughts, which we can follow up on, say, after this meeting, with suggestions on what, you know, do we have something that's ripe, that's worked in the atmospheric research area? And if so, do we want to put in some effort putting it together as a possible highlight for the biennial report, which is due out in October, so there's going to be a turnaround within the next couple of months, just to seed your thinking on that. I think that's the only action item I have. The main item on the agenda today was the website, which I think is going to be a big help in terms of our communication. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Sarah, and Sandy.
Okay, Sarah, do you want me to just jump into the rundown?
Yeah, just real quickly, though, I think it would be nice for Sandy if Ashley and Jeff, it should be coming online, who's going to call in, could just introduce themselves quickly since this is their first call. I'm sorry,
I said Ashley Leslie and Dave.
Leslie. Yeah, Leslie.
Hey, yeah, you want me to go first?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, I am a scientist at NASA Goddard, and I work in the Global Modeling and Assimilation Office. My main research interest here is global carbon cycle modeling, and that's what I spend most of my time doing. But for the past almost 2 years, I've been working to coordinate some of our Arctic and boreal research going on at Goddard. We have a lot of varied and disparate things, from modeling to instrument development, and so the idea is just to keep everyone talking and make sure that we're doing the best we can to advance research in those areas. So as part of that research, I found out about your group and contacted Sandy, and that's how I came to be here today. So I'm happy to contribute however I can in keeping people up to date on what we're doing here at Goddard, and also making sure that we're coordinating with the community as well, and trying to create the best modeling and observational products that we can.
Thanks, Leslie. And David, can you hear us now? Are you on audio? So apparently he's not, so I'll send him a note, and maybe at the end David can introduce himself. So Sandy, why don't...
I'm sorry, Fahey's on.
Oh, great. Do you want to introduce yourself to the group? Because I think this is the first time you've called in, is that correct?
Yes, I think Eric Williams has for me before. So, yes, I'm David Fahey. I'm currently acting director of the Chemical Sciences Division of Earth System Research Lab here in Boulder, and I've had some informal chats with Sandy and others and Tennille about things related to the Arctic. We're kind of on the fringes of that now, but we're less on the fringes than we used to be. And I would just like to start spinning up on the landscape of possibilities and current activities. And Eric Williams, one of my deputies, has been between the two of us, we're trying to keep some continual awareness of this particular group. So, yeah, and so we're looking for ways that we can contribute as a process laboratory and as a atmospheric composition field measurement-based group. So we'll just stay in tune and see what we can do.
Thanks for that very much, both Leslie and David. I think we have a couple people that have called in but cannot see the screen. I know that, Rangshai, you're one of them. Is there anybody else who is calling in but not on the visual, on the screen?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Rangshai, we can hear you.
Oh, great, because I was just able to join in using WebEx, yeah. You should see me, okay. I think, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Glad you could join us. And is there anybody else who's on audio? Okay, then we're good to go, Sandy, thank you.
Okay, very good. Well, for newcomers, I hope this presentation fulfills one of the objectives that we hoped our website would serve, which is helping new members come up to speed on what the activities have been. And for everyone who's been on these calls for a year, thank you so much for your patience during our development process. We know keenly how important websites are, but we really wanted to get this right. And the WebEx folks on the phone have been hanging with us for going on a year now through research phase and design and development phase. And so now we're moving into beta testing. So what you can see on my screen is the results so far. So the approach we've taken, because of the nature of how we are implementing the IARPC 5-year plan and developing our activities, is we have a public website that any school teacher or policymaker or newcomer to the field could search and find, and this is the landing page for it. And then in a little bit, I'm going to try and spend most of our time talking about the member side, where we envision that our collaboration teams are going to become quite active. You can see the title of the website is actually IARPC Collaborations, because this slightly distinguishes us from the true NSTC brand, that's the National Science and Technology Council, IARPC, which is a very strictly defined council within the White House. And so by giving ourselves the IARPC collaboration umbrella, we really have the freedom to use this website in a way that's highly integrated with IARPC, but we don't have to get sign-off from the White House press secretary every time we do something. So that's why the title's a little bit different. And so on this landing page, what you see is what you would typically expect to see when you come in. News items, you can see we've just posted NOAA's FFO that came out yesterday or the day before. There's a steady stream of information that Sarah and I have been seeding the beta site with, and so that people can get a feel for how we think things are going to look. The other main things we think that the public is going to be interested in, aside from high-level news, is that anybody who's heard about the main activity of IARPC is probably going to have heard about the Arctic Research Plan. So if you click across, you will find the IARPC 5-year research plan that's been dissected into a hyperlinked version, and that you can just navigate through a little more readily than the PDF most of you are probably familiar with. This is the chapter that this group has been responsible for implementing. These are the focus areas within what we're implementing. And so it's just a really convenient way to drill down and through the plan, see the milestones, and refer to the text as written and approved by the National Science and Technology Council. And so, as most of you are also aware, the milestones from within this plan and these different topic areas were divvied up amongst a series of collaboration teams. So there are 12 different teams that are implementing the milestones, and you can drill down and learn about these teams at a very high public level. Some of the groups we have seeded with a little bit of information. So most groups have a tagline: studying biological responses to rapid physical changes is an example of a tagline. We look at the scope of their activities, which agencies are involved on that particular team, and who the leadership is, and then, again, the milestones have been repartitioned along team lines, and then we just talk about what the team's accomplished in the last year. The atmosphere team is amongst the teams that we haven't tucked into too much of that, like we don't have a subtitle for this team yet. We do have a scope of activities. We should see the current participating agencies, milestones, and the accomplishments. So Ashley, for your benefit, this came from last year's annual report, and we're hoping, requesting that the team leads take ownership of what's written here and develop what they think should be the right content. And when our content manager comes on board, they're certainly going to have the skills to help with the science communication piece of that. So news we already talked about, events. The events page shows at a public level view what the activities of the organization are. For somebody to become involved and join these meetings, there's a couple of different ways for them to join and get involved, either by clicking on the link and saying, "What's this?" and seeing that they should contact Sarah, or if you refer back to our homepage, you can see that there's also this link for getting involved in the site. And so through clicking that link or through drilling in and learning about the team, or, you know, obviously the people who are on the phone right now are going to automatically get accounts. But for newcomers, this is where they can learn about the site and request an account, and then these requests will be vetted by the Secretariat and appropriate linkages will be made to the relevant collaboration teams based on their scientific interests. So that's the public site. Given our loss of time earlier, I probably won't say more about this now, but I could field a quick question. Okay. If you're not quicker than that on your mute button, then you don't get a quick question. Okay, so signing in, and I hope I didn't click that too quickly, just step over here on the right. If you, at the point where everybody gets this briefing, the next step is that they're going to be sent an email to get their account to get onto the site. And so the first time you sign in, you'll provide a name and password and change that. I'm going to sign in with my university affiliation because with my no affiliation, you'll see admin stuff, and I want you to see what it's going to look like as from a non-admin point of view. So signing in with that, I land on my dashboard, my landing page as a member. And what I'm going to see is I'm going to see the latest activities highlighted as updates, people, documents, and then this other topic that we call wants and haves, and we'll drill through all this content. I'm going to see all of the upcoming events. If there's a check next to something like today's Atmosphere Collaboration Team meeting, it means that I requested to join that event and I got an automatic email update and the kinds of things that you would expect. And then over on the right, if you want to add your own content, you can do so. There's certain qualifications on who can add what that's based on team membership and that type of thing that we'll walk through as I click through these individual links. So this is just kind of your basic, here it is information page. You can see that I'm a member of the Atmosphere Collaboration Team. If I was a member of other teams, you would see that. We can see that Dave and Leslie are the new people. And so, again, just hit the ground running and get up to speed on what the activity is. So from this home site, this is a good place to talk about what's an update, what's a document, what's a want and have. The site is driven much like, you know, a Facebook or some other posting type of forum by content provided by the members. What we envision is that right now you can see some content that's been seeded in here about, for example, an ONR team has arrived in Dead Horse, EPA has some new awards, NOAA announces its federal funding, the Arctic Observing Assessment is in its second phase. These are the kinds of things that we hope people are going to come in and post for themselves and share with other people. Documents are a specific kind of content that is going to be a PDF, a Word document. It might be, as you can see here, meeting notes. It might be workshop summaries. So while some updates might have documents attached to them, they are essentially kind of catch-all news items. It might be, here's a link to this new website that people should see, et cetera, whereas documents are more documents. And then this last category of wants and haves, this is where we envision that if the community so desires, they could post that they have some resources available or that they're looking for some resources, and that you could potentially find, you know, a match made in heaven in your Arctic research community for somebody who has the capability that you're looking for. So you can either navigate on these little subtabs here, or you can also just go exclusively up above across the menu bar and see all the updates. You can see all the people and teams, all the documents, and then all the events. And as I said before, if I click this little button, it will send me notification about the meeting. It'll give me the option to add it to my calendar, et cetera. And then you can see other events that are coming up that you might want to participate in. And we'll also, we're working on some functionality to highlight our webinar series on our events tab. So providing an example of posting some content, we'll go to the updates page. And so a couple things to note. Over here on the right, you're going to see all of these topics that have these little numbers after them. most of you are probably familiar with how these work, topics or tags they're sometimes called. As you put content onto the site, you're going to say what it's relevant for and why people might be interested in it using either popular topics or creating your own topics. And over time, that's going to develop a landscape within the website where people will be able to really zero in on things that are of interest to them based on things that it'll allow the website to become intelligent about your interests. So the more active you are, the more you tag things, the more skillfully you tag things, the more the website is going to learn about you and help connect you with things that are of interest to you. So for example, we will post an update and see what that looks like. So my update is going to be something related to my ISOA project. We will say ISOA, since Jeff's on the phone, I'll say attend Global Cryosphere portal meeting. I don't know why. That's probably not the most relevant. Maybe I should, I'll say we just ingested Global Cryosphere Watch metadata. And so this might be of interest to people interested in atmospheric data sets, people interested in catalogs, people interested in metadata, which shockingly was not already a pre-existing topic, but I can make it a topic. And then, of course, people interested in the cryosphere. I can optionally attach this update to a specific collaboration team, which I think I will, because when people from the Atmosphere collaboration team log in the next time, I want them to see this update. If I was a federal person and I didn't want this distributed to people outside of the federal world, I could click this box. The website knows who's federal and who's not, but I want everybody to see it. And then I'll say ISOA ingested 40 metadata files from the Global Cryosphere Watch portal, data now available, check ISOA.org for more details. And then you can also, within this editor, you can do the typical things you'd expect. You can insert hyperlinks, you can put images in, you know, you can format your text accordingly, etc. And then at the very end, a special kind of topic or tag that we can attach to any piece of content is if it's relevant for a milestone. So if I think that this really speaks to 3 point, Sarah, help me out. Yep, we're 3.3 point. So if I think this is really going to be relevant for something on the Atmosphere team and it's going to represent an accomplishment towards a milestone, I would start looking through the milestones from our group. I think maybe 3.3.3, where we're looking at interdisciplinary, well, we'll say it's this one. I could tag it with that. I could attach a document if I wanted to, if that was relevant, but for this it's not. And then when I save it, it's gonna know that I'm the one who posted it. It's gonna show that I'm the one who posted it. You'll see the topics, the milestones, et cetera. And now this resides as an update, streaming on the general updates page, and then it'll also be on the Atmosphere team page. And if somebody else wanted to log in and comment on this, they could ask questions. They could, if they wanted to subscribe. I am currently subscribed now because I posted a comment to all things that happen on that. So that's what it looks like to post an update and content on the site. And if we go back we can see that it got attached where we would expect it to get attached. And then quickly, I think what I'll do is I'll take you first to the team page before we talk about milestones. And so then you can see a little bit as a member of the team what it's going to look like when you drop down into our team level view. So if you're maybe a new level to the atmosphere team or a new member to the atmosphere team, this is where you would come. You would see those updates that the website decided were of relevance for this team. You would see specifically who's on the team. You would expect that you were going to also see the documents for the team. And then, of course, you see who the team leader is, upcoming events, and then you also see which milestones the team is attached to. So it's just another view into the database that automatically filters things down. So let's talk about the milestones now, but I'll pause here and say if there's questions on anything up to how we're using the website for the milestones, maybe people want to ask now. Okay, let's go look at milestones. So you can get to the milestones either down below or up here on the right. And what you'll see is the milestones from the report are grouped by collaboration team. You can also see which agencies are leading or contributing on which milestones. So it's a good place as the database becomes, we haven't created all the linkages yet, but as all those linkages are made and developed, this will become a great way for somebody from, you know, Department of Homeland Security to say, what are we active in this activity? And then the research areas from the plan, of course, are another view. So drilling into our specific collaboration team, you'll see here, for anybody who has, well, I think everybody on the team has pretty much seen the tracking log. What was once the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet tracking log has now been transformed into this site that you see here, where it's no longer in a table form, so it takes a little bit of practice to get used to the new layout. But what you can see is this high-level summary keyed by whether the milestone has been met, is in progress, there's been no progress, or it's been deactivated. So in particular for newcomers, but also we anticipate that the team leads before their calls or on a periodic basis are going to come in here and say, you know, it's a place where you can very quickly say, how are we doing? What are we supposed to be doing? You can see when the target year is, what agency is supposed to be leading, and when any updated activity has happened. So this is a very high-level summary. If you come up here to the right-hand side, there's this link to Show Actions. So if you click Show Actions, it's going to expand these boxes or tables under each milestone and show you very specifically what's been done. So even if in particular, if the milestone's in progress, we assign various actions to that milestone that are going to demonstrate progress towards the milestone. And so, for example, under 3.3.1.A, you can see that ISO Portal has ingested relevant data from several sites as a completed action. There's an outstanding action related to our working group structure. And that is something that I need to report on by September 26th. And so you can also filter things down, and as a team leader, you might be interested in only seeing the outstanding actions at various intervals, or at a report out, at an annual report out, you might also be interested in seeing what's been completed towards the milestones. And we are going to work towards enhancing the functionality of this so that you can just automatically export reports from the website, but that's not in place right now. For a given milestone, you can also click that milestone, and you're going to see a more filtered view with a little bit more specifics related to, and so as you can see, two documents were tagged as being relevant for this milestone, and you'll be able to find them right here. If I was in an administrative view, I could edit this milestone based on comments from the group, or I could add new people, responsible parties to the milestone. But as a mere plebeian collaboration team member, what I can do is I can comment on the milestone. So maybe I would like to, from a different organization, say, hey, I also have a data portal that I think is going to contribute to this milestone. Take a look at it and tell me if you think this is relevant for your group, that type of thing. So that is the, let's see, just for fun, since Ashley's leading the call, we'll tap into the Department of Energy and look at a slightly different view of what Department of Energy's got on its plate. But that's basically what we have in place for the milestones and the milestone tracking. And so I'll pause there and see what questions people have about milestones. And if I don't hear one, I'm going to make sure that everybody's still on the phone.
Since you put DOE in there, I think I'll have a question. On this list, can you do filters as well, like specifically filters for our team or some other, well, for example,
we don't actually have a cross filter for both by agency and by team. But it is a nice suggestion because we get a lot of questions along those lines, and it's functionality that we could look to for the future. The database would certainly support it.
Sure, absolutely. And we do have we already saw the ability to see the milestones by team. What we don't have is by agency, by team, like the double filtering yet, or at this stage.
Andy,
and if,
this is,
okay.
oh, go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead.
No, I just had a further question. Say you are a person who's sort of on point with one of these milestones. Can you put in input, or does that get moderated through the webmasters?
So the input that I can put in, that's a great question. So let's go back to that milestone that that I owed you something on. Which is this one. So in my, with my access privileges, I can't change the status of this action, and I can't edit this action. Sarah will be able to do that, and I believe we want team leaders to be able to do that. But what I can do is I can say, Ashley, I've made progress, will report next week, etc. And then post that comment. I can attach a document to my comment as well. And then
so Ashley has no privileges.
That's right. Yep, and then Sarah and Ashley can see that and say, oh, okay, good to know. Or I might say, I'm going to miss the meeting, that something happened, or, you know, that type of thing. So we can keep a log. The individuals can keep a log here, or you might just verbally report back at the meeting, and then between yourself and Sarah, modify the actions. We envision some team leaders might just have the milestones open during the phone call. use it as an online tracking mechanism. And I'm hoping Billy and Elnaz are keeping track of all my false content and going to help me delete it after I'm done.
Sure.
Okay, so we're getting kind of, yeah, Sarah.
Just one quick thing, because it's come up with another beta user, actually 2 different beta users, that you can only tag something to team, when you're tagging for a team, you can only tag it if you're a member of that team. So Sandy's not, with this account, not a member of the CI's team, so she can't tag something to the CI's team. That's just come up repeatedly.
With this specific collaboration team tag, I can't do that. But I could tag something up here as being related to CI's. But if I wanted to try to find the CI's team down here, where you specifically link it to a collaboration team, then I can't do that. Yeah, that's a good point, Sarah. So there are some subtleties on the site. There are these tags and topics that are universal, but a collaboration team has a very specific meaning and very specific rules attached to it, and then also milestones are a very specific type of tags that get used throughout. Sarah, did you have another piece that's come up on other calls that you wanted to?
No, Ashley's question answered my other points.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. So then, so we've talked about these topics, and what are some of the ways that you can use them? So we've got a global search box up here, where you could look for something like related, anything that's been tagged as being relevant to black carbon. It might be our Black Carbon webinar series. It might be a journal article that came up during our last phone call that somebody wanted to let us know about. Other types of items like that. You can search for globally up above. And then down below, they've got this, let's see. For some reason, Billy, why isn't this showing my topics? Is it because I don't have any yet?
That is correct. That is correct. As soon as it learns a few, it will have that option.
Okay, so normally this would allow me to toggle back between all topics and my topics. And so as I put more content on the site, as it learns more about me, then it will allow me to toggle back and forth. But in the meantime, anything that I want to filter by date, by one of these topics we've discussed, by people, I might want to see, has Ashley posted anything? Oh, he has not. But it looks like Amy Fisher. Oh, this is just somebody who's in the database. So actually, Ashley should have shown up on the, because I was under sort of this whole global search. But you can also drill things down by team this way if you don't go into the team view explicitly. Find out what the Arctic data team is up to. And then, as we said, by agency and milestone. And of course, you can sort things in different ways. And then I think that is kind of coming up to the end of the little, we've gone through the big features, we've gone through the support features, we've gone through how to track things down from a lot of different directions. Billy, I don't see the feedback button. Did that go away?
Billy, you need to unmute.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, we will check it out. Maybe browser issue, it is really right below account normally. We will make sure it shows maybe a smaller resolution or a Firefox rocket, but it's a link.
Yeah, typically there's a little orange link over here that you can click on to provide your feedback.
Sandy, this is Sarah. I also wanted to just mention that, as Sandy was saying, as you tag things and use the website, it will learn more and more about you. And then you'll have the option when you sign up to tell it how often you want the website to send you information about new postings, events that may be of interest to you. I think your options are weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So then you have that option, and hopefully, if it's working right, you won't get a lot of things about Arctic communities that you're not wanting to see. You're getting things that are relevant to your community. The other function that I'm not sure if this is in place yet, but if you have an action assigned to you 2 weeks before that action's due date, you'll get a reminder that don't forget to check the website for these actions that you are expected to report on at the next meeting. And we're hoping that that's going to cut down on the number of emails that you're getting from me and Sandy and others, and just allow the website to do that for us.
Thanks, Sarah. That's a great point. And there's a little, up by your account piece here, there's a little envelope that will have the sort of red circle with a number in it that tells you how many messages or that type of thing you have through the system to address. The other thing I wanted to point out is that we really encourage people to make good use of your profile space. Of course, we encourage everybody to come up with such a lovely, handsome Arctic field photo for themselves, as Martin Jeffries found, and to use the space to help people learn about you. And you know, as we've mentioned many times, the more you use the space and the more of a presence you make on the site, the more hopefully you'll learn about what's going on in these research areas and how you can develop some collaborations with others.
One more thing that came to mind, Sandy, is that you do also have the ability to invite people to join. So if you can think about people outside that sit down the hall from you, or you've worked with before from a university or whatever, you can invite them to come into this space as well. Then they can apply for an account, and accounts will go through, at least now, for now, the Secretariat will go through me and Sandy. We are bringing on board a content manager. Within the next 2 months, we'll have somebody on board, and they also will be helping to move a lot of the information that's coming, making sure that it is getting tagged correctly, but that also it's getting moved to the front end of the website, the public side, so that that's keeping fresh and interesting to people who happen to stumble upon our website as well.
Okay, so we'd welcome, I know we're so close to the top of the hour that maybe people don't want to run over, but if you don't have a question to put on the table now, please feel free to follow up with any of us. And then Sarah, I'm actually leaving on vacation, but Sarah, are we going to try and get this team accounts by Monday or so, or?
So Billy and I were just talking, just thinking a little bit about that. So accounts will definitely go to everybody who's on the line today, so that you can start beta testing it. And we really encourage you to get in here and try to utilize it and see whether it's working for you, what's not working, and to provide advice back. Billy and Elnaz are great at responding very quickly to issues. Judy is also going to convert this file, and we'll get it up on the website so that people who were not on the call today can listen to it and watch it and become users of the site as well. So I think for everybody that's on the call today, you'll get your login as soon as this afternoon. For others that are not on the call, we may wait. We'll discuss this with Ashley maybe and wait until this program, this webinar today is on the site so people can have a little introduction to it before they get their login. But Billy, we can get the login for everybody on the phone out today, right?
Yes, we definitely can. I was just wondering if I have everybody's name that should be on. I see people on the participant list. I wasn't sure about the 4 people that are joining via phone. If I have the names, so we make sure we send them to those folks as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure that you have everybody. I think the only user on the phone who's not also visible on the list is Rangshai, and I'll add him.
Okay.
He is in the database.
This is Rangshai, but in the participants tab on the WebEx, I see my name very prominently displayed, but I don't know if you guys think
it is there. Why don't I take a second and read out the names I see, and if you just tell me if you don't hear your name. I have, in no particular order, Leslie Ott, Christine Matayam, Ashley Williamson, Daniil Utal, David Faye, Jess T, Rangshai, Altor. Am I missing someone in addition to the host of it? So maybe we got everybody on this list there.
So Ashley, can I ask you initial thoughts, questions?
Well, speaking for myself, I'm impressed. It's a clean, good-looking website, and it looks to have some functionality we can really enjoy using. So I do encourage everybody else, once we get our login info, to get on and try it. I look forward to it.
And this
Great.
Bill, I'll second that. I think this looks like a tremendously useful site, but of course the utility of it only is going to be as good as its users and if we are active contributors.
Hear, hear.
I've got another comment. This is Rangshai. I guess if I type in beta.iarpc.org, it goes to some other site. So it has to be full iarpccollaborations.org?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were hoping for a shorter domain, but at this stage, that's what we're using.
All right.
Yeah, that double C there, IARPIC collaboration.
Yeah.
For those that are on the phone as well, Sandy noted this at the beginning, and we have talked about this in team meetings previously. I think everybody on the phone today actually is a Fed, but so this space is really that open space where we'll be hopefully hearing from the community, inviting them into discussions. Should any of the team members who are Feds, and in particular the team lead, determine that the discussions are reaching a stage where they really need to be moved off of this public site because funding decisions are being discussed or potential collaborations are being discussed, we'll do that elsewhere. Those discussions won't take place on this site. We will have a Fed-only filter, but it's probably safer to have those discussions elsewhere rather than risk somebody forgetting to hit the Fed-only button, that kind of thing. So we do have that functionality to go elsewhere for those other discussions. I think that's it, Sandy, unless Jeff or Christine or David or anybody has any other comments. I guess for Leslie and David, this was a bit to take in the first meeting.
Yeah, this is Fahey, but I must say I'm very impressed. This is an outstanding resource for people in the Arctic game and those trying to move into the Arctic game. So I congratulate the content and website builders.
Yeah, this is Leslie, and I would just second that. I think it's really fantastic. I'm just looking forward to sort of browsing through and seeing all the information there. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to use the resource.
Great.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Ashley, anything else?
We look forward to your content.
Yeah, I got two of the beta users posted updates today, and one bumped the other one from the top slot. So we're hoping that that's going to happen more and more frequently the more people are getting on. So it should be exciting. Ashley, do you want to add anything at the end, or should we wrap up?
Only two little things. Next month, I do want to pursue this this idea of what we might have to show as success stories as a group. And I do want to say as well to Leslie and to David, I'm delighted to have you on board, and hope this is an enjoyable group for you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
I
guess we can sign off until next month.
Yeah, I think all you have to do is just exit, and you should be out of WebEx. And for those of you on the phone, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Judy?